Tell me about the so-called rare earths that these batteries need. Where are they coming from?
So what many people don't realise is that we're actually experiencing a mining boom. So the idea of renewables energy being some kind of low intensity green economy is a complete fallacy. It takes a lot more mining intensive activities in order to produce the required minerals for renewables technologies. And what people don't realise is that a lot of these rare earths are actually sitting on the ocean floor. So they call this the blue economy. And it's basically code for ripping up the ocean floor to gather up these rare earths materials to make things like batteries and solar panels and wind turbines. And it's an extremely destructive process that they basically call it a scorched earth approach, where it destroys and kills everything it touches as it goes. And oddly, leads to the acidification of the ocean, which is what they're trying to avoid with fossil fuels, allegedly.
Well, you put it very well in your piece in The Spectator. You said, quote, "Far from loving the oceans, the production of e-cars is fueling the exploration and mining of previously protected waters. The damage is estimated to be huge, permanent, and result in the extinction of species." Alexandra, there was a United Nations conference about the oceans held in Portugal in June, which our new Environment Minister Tanya Plibersek attended, where the degradation of the ocean for rare earths was barely even mentioned. Why do you think that is?
I don't think China wants to clue a lot of people into the fact that there are trillions of dollars worth of minerals sitting on the ocean floor, particularly around the Pacific area. They believe at the moment, as a best guess, that there's more value under the ocean than there is on every continent on Earth. So this is a fortune worth of mining resources, and so they're trying to quietly work out who's going to own what before they start alerting the public to what's going on. And I don't think the Teals voters will be very happy to find out that their lovely little EV cars are actually killing the ecosystem of the oceans.
Well, let's bring it back to the mining companies, shall we? You say they are destroying environments while fooling environmentalists that they're actually clean and green. Can you explain how they do that?
So in order to mine these rare earths, which they're sort of these little nodules of rare earth minerals on the ground under the seafloor where they sit along the volcanic cracks. And so they send these submersibles down there, they suck up all the silt and all the creatures that are there with it in order to extract these nodules. Unfortunately, that also dumps feet and many meters of silt back onto the ocean floor, which suffocates and kills whatever's around there. Now, these cold environments are also slow-moving environments, so they don't adapt very well to being buried. And they're concerned, especially people from Greenpeace and others who worked with ISL, which is the International Seabed Authority, ISA, they're concerned that it's actually going to kill the breeding grounds for the bottom of the food chain in the ocean, which will then work its way back up through destroying the larger animals and robbing the ocean of its food supply. So it's a very large problem, and people have been hanging the lantern on this for a while. Even people who worked for the authorities have said this is like letting the wolf guard the sheep. It's not a good idea.
But if it's happening at the bottom of the ocean, you can't see it. Is that why they're getting away with it?
That's exactly right. If you destroy some kind of native environment on the Earth, you've got 1,000 protesters rock up and start gluing themselves to things. But if you do it under the ocean, in the middle of the Pacific, nobody can see anything.
Well, as I said, Tanya Plibersek and the rest of the Labor frontbench couldn't wait to regain their places at the climate love-ins that seem to happen at various luxurious resorts around the world on a weekly basis these days. But really, our elected politicians are just the proxies in this situation, I think. Who really pulls the strings here, Alexandra?
Well, this is something that I'm trying to show people about what's happening, because geopolitics is complicated and it's also deceptively simple. So if you look at what's happening in the Pacific, everyone's treating the Pacific Islands with some kind of paternalistic attitude, as if they're an innocent party. We have to throw money at them to stop them from sinking. That's not true. The Pacific Islands are sitting on a fortune worth of these mining resources. They're doing deals and memorandums with China to mine it. And we've got Albanese and Penny Wong trekking around being like, we'll stop mining, we'll cut all of our emissions by almost half, and we won't mine anything, but you can go and mine and your resources will be worth more.